Relief is on the way for millions of Americans with federal student loans. Good afternoon. Welcome to The Four. I'm Heather Myers.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Just hours ago, President Biden pledged to wipe away thousands of dollars of college debt for millions of students. The administration is also proposing big changes to repayment programs.
Skylar Henry has reaction and what this means for some borrowers.
Another campaign promise fulfilled, with President Joe Biden announcing student debt relief for federal borrowers.
Here's what my administration is going to do to provide more breathing room for people so they have less burden by student debt.
The president's plan forgives $20,000 of debt for Pell Grant recipients and $10,000 for other borrowers, and it's capped for borrowers who earn less than $125,000. Additionally, the Department of Education has proposed new rules that would cap income-driven repayment plans at 5% of monthly income and overhaul the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program.
For anybody with student loans, it's a big deal. This could totally wipe out the student loan burden for about a quarter of borrowers.
The Biden administration is also extending the moratorium on federal student loan repayments one last time, with payments set to resume after this year's midterm elections in January.
Moderate Democrats, progressive Democrats don't want to see tens of millions of Americans get student loan bills just before they're asking voters to go to the polls.
But top Republicans are slamming it as inflationary.
Just think about how unfair this is for all the Americans who are harmed by this, who are now on the hook for hundreds of billions of dollars of other people's loans.
In a scathing statement, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell dubbed the president's plan student loan socialism. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Well, the president's plan has drawn mixed reaction from people across the country, including right here in San Diego.
CBS 8's Kelly Hessedall joins us live from downtown with that part of this story. Kelly.
That's right, and some people say the president's plan, it just doesn't do enough. Others applaud him and say at least he's doing something. But most people I talked to today said that the cost of higher education is just too expensive. One person I spoke to says he has more than $100,000 of student loan debt.
I have a newborn, and so my priorities have largely shifted, from a bachelor in the workplace to how am I going to pay for everything for this child over the next 20 years. And it's, while I'm able to enjoy different things, having a professional degree, it's still hard.
And that was Andrew Marin. Now, he lives here in San Diego with his wife and his newborn named Mila. He is an attorney who graduated from Cal Western Law School back in 2018, and he racked up a lot of student loan debt. Now, he doesn't qualify for the loan forgiveness program announced by President Biden today because it only applies to borrowers who make less than $125,000 a year. He isn't upset that he doesn't qualify, though he admits seeing that $100,000 plus debt in his name stings. However, the point he makes is that higher education in this country costs too much. He says it shouldn't carry a six-figure price tag. He actually speculates that maybe if the president hadn't put forward this plan, it could have forced the folks in Washington to really deal with the issue of this high price tag. So back out here live. Meanwhile, I also talked to some City College students who said, at least this is a start. $10,000 might not be much to some people, but to others it really is. Others pointed out about what about the people, though, who didn't rack up this amount in debt? Or what about the people who actually did pay off their student loans? Shouldn't they be rewarded? So there's certainly some mixed feelings about the president's plan just in general. Heather and Carlo.
Yeah, and how this plan will be executed is another whole host of questions here, Kelly. Did we know when this debt will be paid off and exactly how this will happen?
Well, people do have a lot of questions. On Twitter alone, there were a lot of people just tweeting to the president asking things like, do I qualify for this, or how is this going to work? I can tell you that I tried to call one of the student loan sites and tried to talk to them. There was like more than a 30-minute wait. Some of the websites crashed because so many people are going online trying to figure out if they qualify. Now, at the same time, we are told that there are some people whose debt is going to be forgiven just automatically. If your income information is already into the Department of Education, we're told that they're going to have an easier time, those folks. But some people who don't have their information input already with the Department of Education, they're probably going to have a lot of paperwork ahead of them.
A lot of people are going to be happy about today's news, but not everyone. Kelly Hessedall reporting for us live. Thanks, Kelly.